Hi, I'm Goose, and welcome back. I have a very exciting, very strange interview for you guys today. We are talking with Benji, and we are learning how to build with mobs. Now, I mean literally using mobs as building blocks. It is a very, very interesting, very in depth process. So bear with me. It's quite a lot of stuff that we go over, but we break it down. We talk about a lot of different possibilities, a lot of different ways that you can use this. And I think it's some really, really interesting stuff. I've never really seen anybody use this technique to the extent that Benji does. So I hope you guys get a lot of information from this. If you enjoy, subscribe. I got a Patreon if you want to support me on there. I'm streaming a lot on Twitch and YouTube, and I love you guys, and I hope you enjoy the stuff you're about to watch. All right. See you soon. I'm here with Benji today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good. So you are going to show us quite the building technique today, and I'm very excited. Before we get into this, though, I want to ask you a question because we are recording this like 20 minutes after Minecraft Live ended. What are your thoughts on the new stuff, the new blocks, new additions?
I'm excited for the cast. I'm gonna use it for my builds.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us are, but I'm gonna use it for my builds.
Yeah, I think you're going to use it in a different way than everybody else is going to use. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I have mixed feelings about the saddle design, but that aside, I'm very excited about all the additions. I think it's going to be great. So
I'm sure we can use it
yeah,
somehow.
we'll figure it out. Yeah, I noticed I had mentioned that to you, and the first thing you said was it'll make a good floor pattern. So if
It will probably make a good floor pattern. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
So if that gives you guys an idea about what we're going to be working with, Benji builds with mobs. Benji builds a lot of other stuff and is very, very good at building. But the thing we're talking about today is building with mobs, which you're the only person I know of that really does this, and it's quite the process. So just to show you guys a couple examples, we got a tree made out of turtles. We got a roof made out of dogs, and we got a roof made out of wandering traders. So I'm very, very excited for this. So if you have some stuff set up, if you want to start with your armor, your like special armor that you have.
Okay, so a lot of things with these mob placings, it's really about using like pixel perfect positions. And one thing I've been doing is getting like different boots, making me different heights. All of these make you one block high, but they have like different properties to them with jump height and not walk speed, but jump height, water speed, and step height. And one of those things is, for example, allowing me to shift on carpets.
Can you not shift on carpet the same way when you don't have the boots on?
Without the boots, let me take off my boots. Even with slabs, you shift. You can go off and on, which is great for like a lot of things, but not for the way I'm building.
Okay, so yeah, so with these boots, I can't walk onto the carpet unless I jump and then I can shift. Okay, all right, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And same thing with slabs. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, let's check out how you place the turtles. I'm really curious about this.
So next to like this is basically the vertical pixels. You've also got the horizontal pixels. So like to the side, the cake is really great. It's directional, but it goes in by 2 pixels every slice, allowing you to stand on like different spots in the cake. And then if we go here to a little thing I set up with end spawners, because I needed something that was 3 pixels lower than a full block. And then the cakes to be on the side. Now, when I stand here on the side and I spawn in the turtles, and here I place them like that, making sure because of the pixel perfect height of the end portal frames, their fins will be like fully lined up with the blocks underneath.
Okay.
And then I just replace those things with normal blocks and air, and then I can stack them using Axiom.
Okay. That makes sense. So you're using things like the cake and like the portal blocks, kind of like a ruler, like a guide, so that you don't have to like look down and line up the pixels. You know, if you go all the way up against this cake, you're exactly in the right position.
And there's also the thing with a difference between being full, like your size, or being my size. With my size, I can be closer to a block than you can in pixels. So if I were to say we both spawn in the same mob.
Can you take off your boots and spawn one next to those so I can see what the difference is?
Oh yeah, I can take off my boots.
Okay. Oh, it's a pretty substantial difference then. Okay. That makes sense.
If they were the other way around, let's say we flip them, so we do minus 90 but instead of 90 and go small next to it, they will suffocate. Well, wait, they
if you
won't.
get them that
This
close.
is not a full block. Wait. There we go. Full blocks, they suffocate.
Okay. Oh, no. Oh, I didn't save him in time. That's okay. No real dogs were hurt in the making of this, I promise. A lot of fake dogs were hurt in the making of this, though.
So what I did here is I used slabs, and I started from the bottom and went down. So I won't be like placing blocks where they were. So I think I used slabs for all of them. So at like the top, I had slabs. I would paste them in, like summon them, and like the top one is 4 on the 4 different angles. Then I would break it, be half a slab lower, and then summon them again on different angles.
Okay. And then you just summon in the berry bushes. You just kind of place those in afterwards.
Okay. And those were like moved in later with Axiom.
How do you copy entities with Axiom? That's something I'm not familiar with. Is it just you can just select it and copy it like normal? Okay, so for how I understand it, so we are going to have the clone tool selected. If we hold Alt, we can double check that copy entities are on. We will select the first point, which is the block underneath them. And then in this case, I'm going to stand above them or on them and type //POS2, which is the second position. And then we have them selected. So now if we move the copy and then confirm, oh, and there we go. Okay, and it copies the entities. Okay, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So if I were to copy it, let me get my X for this. This is world edit copy. 1, 2. And I were to, let's say, move it -E, which is for entities, by 10. It moves it by 10. Then if I were to accidentally place a block in it, that it kills it. This is me placing accidental blocks. This is not me killing turtles, I promise.
Nope, they're
and then
fine.
I were to undo it, then all my turtles are back and my process is saved.
Okay.
This is the only way you can undo mob placing or mob killing. Like accidentally suffocating a mob is not like, oh, I'll do undo. So this is one you always got like when I was building this turtle tree, I had like to redo the first 3 layers many times to the point that I just every time I was gonna do a new layer, I moved it just so I could like undo it with my world edit to be back to normal.
Okay, and that doesn't work with undo with Axiom, only with world edit?
Axiom doesn't work always. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's, again, not optimized to work with mobs because no one builds with mobs.
And do you have all of your like mob spawning? Do you have all those set as hotkeys? Or do you just
I don't have my mob spawning set to hotkeys. I have a whole bunch commands saved in saved commands.
So how do you save commands? That's something I'm not familiar with.
I save my commands just in a private Discord server. I type the command, I copy it over to my private Discord server. It's just like a channel. It's called saved commands, and that's where I like scroll up. It's really, really simple.
Okay, so you don't have them like saved in game. There, you just have them saved somewhere, and you copy and paste them in. Okay, that makes more sense.
And like once I use them, like usually I only have to like copy and paste it from my document like once, and then I can like change things by using the arrow up key for like my previous commands.
Oh, I didn't even know you can do that. So if you learning something every day. So if anybody else didn't know that, if you type out a command and you want to get back to that command, if you open the chat and you arrow key up, it will just cycle through the commands that you've done and the chats that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. Wow, that's amazing.
That's how people sometimes accidentally like triple type the same message in like 2 seconds because they want to go back to the previous command and then forgot they send a text message in between.
Well, that's something I did not expect to learn today. That's really cool. I love learning things like that because half the people, when they see it, are like, whoa, that's the best thing ever. And the other half of people are like, how did you not know that? It's just how it goes.
This is one of those things.
Along with your pixel perfect placement that you like use your boots for and stuff, I know we mentioned this very briefly in the interview I did with you in the bakery build. So can you explain what this ramp is and what it is and what you use it for?
So this is where I've got like all my rose windows and lines as well. This is when I first started working on building. I met Fahan really quickly, and she, well, you know what she does.
Yeah.
And she inspired me to like work with blocks and like use the glass panes and as like vertical slabs. And like the wall and a trapdoor is like basically one block, and all that together is all pixel counting. So I was doing this and like experimenting with this, and I was like, what other blocks are there that have like really cool pixel counting techniques? Like how the piston, for example, without a head is basically a wall, or a what is it, slab with sign on it.
Okay. Okay.
Something
Because it's just, what is it? Four pixels off from a full block.
Yeah, it's like the same. So
Oh,
that's like a gray slab with sign.
okay.
So like that, I was like just placing different blocks and seeing like how high is every block. And that's also when I found out, like, for example, take the snow layer, especially if you wear the boots, you'll see it, is that a snow layer has like visual pixels and hitbox pixels. This one is only 4 pixels high, even though it's 6 pixels in this thing. And you'll see that the amethyst has the same. You'll be able to count 6 pixels, but it's 4 pixels high because you can shift over to the snow.
Okay. So the
So
hitbox pixels look like they kind of happen in increments, but the visual pixels, can be individual pixels.
yeah, you can like walk through like the first 2 pixels of snow because it's nothing. Well, it is something, but it's like no actual thing.
Okay. There's no hitbox for it.
Mm-hmm. So here I've got like the staircase, if you go to the back, where I made one with all the actual pixels where you stand on. So like every single one, you'll be like stuck by 1 pixel.
Oh, there's a lot more than I thought there were.
There is.
So if I take off the boots, I shouldn't fall between those. So this is this just repeats as single pixel increments.
Yeah, this is the smoothest version you can have.
Okay. Oh, and it resets at a block with a railroad on it. Okay, so that's like
okay. So yeah, the railroad
point.
doesn't do anything. I just wanted something there that's like funny.
just for the fun of it.
Yeah. But you've probably like seen those shorts of people being like, "Oh, this is the steepest staircase you can make, and this is the longest staircase you can make." They are all incorrect because they not been using like the perfect pixel hitbox things, or at least not the ones I've seen. I could be wrong. It could be that there's someone who has done this before, but this is the actual longest staircase you can make.
So the skull is the same height as a slab.
Yeah, in this case, it is.
Okay.
Skulls can also be, I think, the same height as like 4 pixels higher if they are placed on the wall.
Oh, okay, that's cool. All right.
So that one is also a bit different there.
It is cool. I like throwing that in there though, because it is useful to know, people know a slab is a half block, but it's good to know that the mob heads are also the same height. So you can interchange those. Like if you need a different color or if you need to like boost the height of a wall by half a block, something like that, you can use that. That's cool.
And here you've got a wall that's only 12 pixels high. If you go from my perspective, at least. 12 pixel high wall. That's great.
That's cool too. Can you step up these? Oh, and you can step up those too. Okay. So we talked about the turtles. Now with the dogs, something that you do with the dogs, which I think is hilarious, is you make roofs out of them, which I don't remember who first said it, but I think it was Jitterybug has been lovingly calling them woof roofs. Woof roofs.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of people have been calling them that I made a reel about it, got 500,000 views, and so many people have been making jokes about it.
It is, as a lot
how,
of people have said, a fairly cursed building technique, I think.
it is. How I got to this was really funny, actually. I was just living my life at a work convention. It was boring. Someone was like talking for hours about, I don't even remember. It wasn't important enough to remember. Um, so I was like thinking, and I was like, wait, cats are like, when they sit, they're like the perfect diagonal line. But then I used cats, but cats are, with like the pixels, are only 5 pixels lower when the head is down. And if we like get the head up, can I get the head up easily? Probably it's like 4 pixels.
So if you use some of the name tags like dinner bone to flip an animal upside down, can you still have them sit?
Oh, totally. You
Okay.
can summon them in any way you want them, and then you can flip them using dinner bone.
If you had like a cat on the other side of like a trap door, you could probably use its tail as like a faucet or something like that.
Oh, totally. Wait, let me grab
That's
my
so
dinner
cool.
bone.
Okay.
But yeah, I started with thinking about the cats for the roof, and then later I was like, the tails are sticking up, and with dogs, when they get hurt, they can be put down. Later I was like, oh, I can also just do it with commands, but my first dogs were very poisoned.
Oh no, that's horrible. Okay, so that's cool. Let me grab a trapdoor real quick and see if this works. Well, it's not as far as I was thinking, but I mean, that's an interesting little detail. I wonder what you could do with that. Almost looks like a light switch.
I mean, you can stand closer to it. That's old like pixel placement. You use a cake and you can like almost pixel perfect decide where you want it.
And there you go, guys. You got a new kind of sink. That's so cool. That's so cool. So this one is all what is it? What this one's all wandering traders, which
This is all wandering traders.
I particularly like this one because so many people want blue stairs, and it's like, well, if you want blue stairs, at least in creative, you can use wandering traders, which is I really like this one. I think this one might be my favorite. That's such an interesting color palette and shape to have, and it really does look like roof shingles. The only downside is if you have mob sounds on, it is quite a loud house.
And you can do the same with villagers and like different professions and like biomes as well. So like the green from the what is it? The swamp village with their drip leaf hat can be used as like a green version.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool.
And they all have different patterns. I have not experimented with all of them, but a lot of them do have like really interesting patterns you can use to create like cool diagonals.
Okay, I know this has been a lot, so we're going to take a second. We're going to slow down, and I'm going to go through the commands and break them down step by step so that you can learn how to summon these mobs and how to change the parameters to make them look different. Overall, the commands are going to be the same for every mob. You're just going to be changing the name of the mob that you're summoning. We're going to go over an example for the fox so you can see how it's done. Now, this command may look like a lot, but we're going to break it down, and I promise you it'll make sense at the end. Our base command is /summon. This is the command to summon an entity. The next part of the command is what entity are we summoning? In this case, we are summoning a fox. The third part is the coordinates that the entity will be summoned at. If you want the entity to be summoned exactly where you're standing, you use 3 tildes. This takes place of the coordinates and summons it by default exactly where you're standing. If you do want specific coordinates, you're going to have the x coordinate, the y coordinate, and then the z coordinate. Then we have a set of brackets with parameters that determine what the mob is doing. When you're looking at commands or coding in general, a value of 1 means yes, and a value of 0 means no, true and false. The first parameter that we're determining is whether this mob has AI, whether they can move and walk and react to the world. So we have no AI as the parameter, and then we want that to be true, so we have a value of 1. Benji gave me the command typed out as 1b. I tried it with the b and without it, and I didn't notice a difference, but I have a feeling that there's something that it's affecting that I don't know about, so I'm just leaving it as is. If you do want to do just as 1, to me it seemed like it worked the same. If you do 0, it'll just be a normal mob that will run around and react to the world. Our second parameter is whether or not they are sitting. In this case, I wanted the foxes to be sitting, so we have a value of 1, which is true. They are sitting. And then we have the rotation. You'll notice we have 2 values here that we can choose from. The first value is the direction that the mob is facing. This is set up with our cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, and goes from 0 to 360 degrees, just like a circle. You can also pick any value in between if you want them facing a specific direction or maybe on a diagonal. The second value is different for different mobs, but in general, it determines the rotation of the head. Positive values make the head look down, and negative values make the head look up. So if we have this set at 0 and 0, this fox will be facing south and its head will be level. So let's try it out. Now it summoned it directly where I'm standing. It is in fact facing south and the head is level. It's sitting and it doesn't have any AI. It doesn't react. Here's some examples so you can see what this looks like. We have the fox sitting with a level head going north, south, east, and west. We also have some examples of the head tilt. Here we have -50, -20, 20, and 50. These commands work for most of the land mobs as well. So we have a dog facing south with a level head, and then we have a dog facing south with its head tilted down at 40. Same thing for the cat, and same thing for the turtles. We can rotate the turtles, and we can also change the angle of the turtle's head. Not every mob is going to have the same range of movement for their head. For example, when the turtle is put at -50, it's looking straight up, whereas when we put the fox at -50, it's looking up, but not quite straight up. You just have to take this command and experiment with a lot of the mobs. There's a lot of different things that you can do this way, and you can really customize them to be standing, sitting, looking up, looking down. You can put a dinner bone tag on them to make them upside down. A lot of different stuff you can do. I also need to mention that some entities can't really be removed, so be careful when you're experimenting. For example, this is a dragon's fireball, and unless this is in motion and shot from a dragon, it doesn't explode, and it doesn't really interact with anything, and you can't directly remove it. I'm not sure how to remove this, so have fun, experiment, but be aware when you're working on builds that some of the entities can be a little bit more difficult than others. So we're going to hop back in with Benji, and he's going to show some stuff with dolphins.
If you're over a certain limit, it will just stick, so you can't go further than half of it. So the 90 is straight up, but like, let's say 45, this one. This is 45, this is 20, and this is 90.
Okay, so it does snap to a grid a little bit.
Yeah. Because they can't swim. Like, for example, you can think about it as if it's like swimming. It can't swim upside down. However, that's where dinner bunk comes in play. So if you want anything more than like 90 degree, you just flip it. So now this is 135 degree.
Huh, that's so cool. Do you use dolphins much, or any of the swimming mobs, or you just kind of...
I've used them for spires. The only thing with dolphins you gotta be aware of is the way dolphins work is they need to breathe oxygen, but the moment you de-render them a little bit, they will forget that they need to breathe and they die.
Oh,
so
okay.
Usually with your build, if you're like too far away, same way as like how survival players want to use them in farms with dolphins graze. If you're like not careful and de-render them for too long, they will despawn or die.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I was wondering why dolphin stuff didn't work in survival.
I have used them for spires by using their tails. This, and then I'll have like a wall inside.
And even just with the dolphins, they look like I forgot the name for them. They're like giant caltrops that they would use to stop vehicles.
Oh yeah, totally. You can use them for a lot of things. I've also used them as like a campfire holder. So like you put a campfire underneath and like the smoke goes out as like a signal place. Yeah, that's also an interesting sight.
Like, what do you do? What are your hobbies? Do you do art outside of Minecraft? Do you just kind of work and this is this is your hobby? What else do you got going on?
So I've been my entire life I've been doing art, and it's always like different types of art have been my hobby. So mostly fabric related stuff, to the point that I've been making my own clothes, making plushies, embroidering onto stuff. Like I got a signed hoodie, bakery holiday hoodie, signed by Snarple. And I've been working on embroidering some flowers onto there, which is super cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Um,
cool. I didn't know you did textile stuff.
my entire life, I've been doing like different types of art, creativity, whatever. Drawing, both color pencil and just black and white drawings, paintings, watercolor. Right now, it's only really actively Minecraft because Minecraft is something I've been enjoying a lot and giving me a lot of like freedom in this online space. And there are like so many really nice people online. Um, but yeah, I do out of Minecraft a lot of other art stuff. And that's also basically my hobby and like all I've been doing my entire life. I do also have a job, but
Is it art related?
I no, it's like boring office job, uh, administration and finance, numbers, and it's just 4 hours of turning my brain off 3 times a week. It's great.
I mean,
It allows me to be creative afterwards.
that's not too bad. I've worked in art and it changes it. It really changes it. And it made me desire a job that was not related to art. So I could just, you just go, you do what you're told, you get paid, and then you
Yeah,
can go
it's.
home and you can, free yourself a little bit.
hmm I also get like the dogs, for example. I get like most creative ideas when my brain is like turned off listening to things about numbers and work life and office life and that kind of things.
Do you enjoy math? Like just math in general?
I do. I
Oh,
like
nice.
math a lot.
Cool. Oh, that's
But
awesome.
that's like if that's why you like if you look at like the wall behind you with like me explaining different lines, it's like all written out in like a really simplistic but definitely mathematical approach. Recently I've been working on like cleaning that up, making like clear overview of like every individual line, adding to what I've learned about it in the meantime, and now I'm working on a fully shaping tutorial explaining how to make circles, how to make lines, and how to use those lines into like a circle basically. It's like if you go down here you can see how I use like every individual line, which is just a different pixel angle, all in front of each other to create like a perfect circular uh, curve.
That is so cool. Do you post stuff on YouTube? Do you have a channel or do you just post stuff on Instagram?
I got my first video like out recently, and I've got plans to do way more. I've got like a whole bunch of like notes for like videos I want to do. All of this is gonna be a video one day.
You hear that, guys? Keep an eye out. Benji's on YouTube.
It's a simple tutorial. There's nothing crazy. Don't worry about it.
I didn't realize that this is what this build was. I'm really excited you have this here. This is my favorite build that you have ever done, and this is one of my favorite builds that I've ever seen in Minecraft. I think that
This is my favorite build as well.
this is so cool. This is just a masterpiece, in my opinion. Just the mix of it being 2D and the perspective coloring and the sky and the clouds, but it also being structural, like being able to actually go in here, but it looks like a painting. I think this is a masterful example of so many building techniques.
And in here, the reason I grabbed this is I built this when I like started like fiddling with like the different blocks and such. And I used a half-eaten cake up here because of like the highlight and the orange. It's really stupid, but and it only works on this direction. If you're on the bakery and look at this build, it's like flipped because I wasn't able to have it on the right direction. But here I use like stupid pixel things like this one
Oh, that's
with
so
a
cool,
button
though.
in front of it. It's like a detail no one will ever notice.
Yeah, that's something that I don't think I would have noticed even if I sat here and looked at it. But I do think that really, really nice pieces of art, like a very masterful approach to art, is thinking of it as a collection of very, very subtle things. And all those things in
Mhm.
culmination are what make it really, really nice. Like it's not just one big piece. It's a bunch of little details, like having the cake and having the mushrooms and just the little touch of like the different kinds of grass with the vines. I think things like that together really make it nice.
I don't know if you've got your brightness set in any way, but if you like turn off your brightness, you'll also see that like the holes in the ceiling are all done with transparent blocks. It has a glass fog effect, so they seem more dense from the top. It's like fully pink, but from the bottom you can see how these holes all are basically straight lines of light going down onto the build to highlight specific parts. And using this technique, I also focus on like these birds. So like some of these lever birds are really dark, and other ones are way lighter the moment they get closer to like the sun, using like the light.
Oh, that's so cool. I just assumed they were different blocks.
No, they're like here to like the pixel with the button and like the fence gate and the levers. So from like the front, they are like a bit smoother. And if your skull's de-rendered, there's still the button.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. It's that detail. It's that detail, man. That detail is what makes it so good. That's awesome. I love it.
Also, are you aware you've been flying around with a cauldron in your hand for a long time?
I wasn't aware because on build school, for some reason, my hands are invisible and I don't know why. That's another, hey, shout out to everyone watching this video. It's only on this server. I don't know what it is. I've reset all my attributes. I've re-logged. I've done everything. My hands just don't show up in this server. If anybody knows how to fix that, please let me know because it drives me crazy. Well, thank you, Benji, very much. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I have a lot to think about your treatment of Minecraft animals. But no, that's a very, very interesting build technique. I'm very excited to attempt to put it to use in something. Do you have anything that you want to say? Any kind of farewell message or anything you want to plug or anyone you want to plug? If you want to give anyone a shout out, the floor is yours.
Oh no, now I need to think about this. Well, first of all, I think I've got plans to do a build with mobs only, like somewhere in the very near future. I've got like a whole plan of how I'm gonna do it. Just waiting for like the newer mobs to come out and potentially with the new ghost, because I think that's gonna be really cool. Um, I need to thank someone. Do I want to thank someone? Is there I want to thank? There are many people I can thank actually, because there are so many people I've met along like my building journey that like inspired me or get me where I am now. It's like too many to name. It's like almost every person I've like spoken to has given me some sort of like inspiration in one way or another. Like even just like someone random in the bakery saying, "Hey, look, a wandering trader," like sparked something. Um, so just everyone has been great. I've met many cool people, and they've all been inspiring.
All of Benji's links are going to be in the description, so please go and check out his stuff. And thanks to everybody, all of you guys.